Welcome to episode 21 of 100 Years of Marine Corps Tankers, a station dedicated to honoring the legacy of Marine tankers and remembering the stories of what made the community special, told through those words of the Marines that towed the line. Today, we are joined by a true warrior, Master Sergeant Booker T. Maxwell III. Top Maxwell represents the many Marines that were instrumental in support roles to the Army community. Although not a tanker per se, these Marines are every bit as important to the community. And welcome to the channel, Master Sergeant Booker.
Thank you very much, sir, for having me.
Absolutely. It's my honor to have you on here. Having grown up in Muskogee, Oklahoma, what inspired you to enlist in the Marine Corps in July 27th of 1993?
So I'm gonna tell you honest to God truth. I graduated high school, attended college, and didn't have the best grades in that last semester. So I had to leave Muskogee for my dad got a hold to my backside.
All right, fair enough. So from Muskogee out to San Diego, where you attended Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego. And then after completing the recruit training, you were then assigned to the Marine Corps Communications Electronics Squad in 29 Palms, California, for training as a 2531, which is a field radio operator. And then upon
Yep.
graduation, you were assigned out to 7th Communication Battalions in Alpha Company in Okinawa, Japan. What are some of your early memories from this first assignment?
My first assignment was a young kid being away from home. I assumed, I made the assumption there's a lot of Marines that I was going to be stationed in the United States. And they gave me orders in 2 weeks to pack my bags and go to Japan. And Japan's a long way from Muskogee.
Yes, it is.
So and that was my first time away from home, considering that my mother passed when I was 15. My
Mm.
father had raised me since then. And it was kind of hard not having your father there to give you advice and be there with you every day. And for the first time, I was on my own. I was on my own.
And that,
But I truly learned brotherhood from that.
okay. And then March of 1995, that we bring you back a little bit closer here, back to home, where at that time, Lance Corporal Maxwell received orders to 9th Communications Battalion in Charlie Company out there in Camp Pendleton, California. And then 96, you were sent to Joint POW MIA Accounting Command, also known as JPAC, as a radio operator. During this time, once again, you were sent away, this time for 30 days, to Hanoi, Vietnam, searching for MIAs. What was that assignment like?
I would have to say that honestly changed my whole perspective on the Marine Corps. It changed my whole perspective on service, period. Because fortunate enough, once I arrived to Hawaii, they give you an in brief on the deceased service member you're looking for. And it just happened to be that the pilot I was looking for was from Norman, Oklahoma.
Wow.
And he graduated OU and he had died in Vietnam. And it really hit home for me. It really did hit home that I'm looking for a fellow service member, but I'm looking for a fellow Oklahoman as well to give his family rest and peace.
Was that by chance, or did they design it that way?
No, it was strictly by chance. I got selected to go to SEAL High, and when I got to SEAL High, they assigned me to a team, and the team gets the Army. They assign all the missions out, and I just happened to get assigned to that team. And as we're reading the brief on who we're looking for, the service member we're looking for, all of that just started to jump out in my face. Like, this guy is from Norman, Oklahoma. He graduated from Oklahoma University. He was a pilot and he died during the Vietnam War. And I got to do everything I can to at least assist in the best way I can to give his family closure.
Understood. After returning from JPAC, you were Lance Corporal Maxwell received orders to Tactical Training Exercise Control Group, otherwise known as TTECG, in 29 Palms, California. While at TTECG, you served as the Coyote 6 driver and radio operator. And for those that do not know, Coyote 6 is the director of TTECG. So that's a very important role and one that is certainly challenging at times. While out there in 29 Palms, was this the first time you were exposed to tanks?
That was my first time. And I was sitting, they call it VIP Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting on VIP Hill and they're doing Finex. And I watched tanks do their initial and final engagement. And I was like totally impressed. Like, we actually have things that can do this. Can you go here? Can I go to this unit? And I was just totally impressed. And I talked to a few tankers doing that, and they were like, man, you're a comm guy. We got comm guys and tanks.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since that day, Lance Corporal Maxwell was making a path to get the tanks. I was making a path to get there.
Sure.
It was just, it's awesome. 78 tons of twisted steel and sex appeal is just awesome.
I love it. Yes, sir. Hear the beast roar. January 1997, you were then sent out to the 13th MU, the Marine Expeditionary Group, Special Operations Capable, so MUSOC. While on the 13th MU, you served as the boat raid team, helo raid team, and forward command element, which is the FCE. And then on January 1st, 1998, you were promoted to the rank of corporal. That same year in June, you volunteered to extend for a second deployment with the 13th MUSOC again, where this time you held the billets of Watch NCOIC, FCE, NCOIC, and MU Commander's radio operator. So once again, you were commanding we were working as an operator for the commander. So I can't speak in your world exactly, but I'm pretty sure that as a young Marine, if you've now been assigned to work on two commanders' radios, you're pretty darn good at your job, even early back then. And we're going to continue on with that here in a moment. December 1st, 1998, Corporal Maxwell, you were then promoted to sergeant, and you continued to serve in the 13th MU. September of 99, you received orders to Marine Wing Support Squadron 274, so MWSS 274, out there in Cherry Point, North Carolina. While assigned to the 274th, you received the squadron radio chief, and then March of 2000, you were chosen to be radio chief for the Joint Task New Horizons, where you served at St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What was it like being down there?
That was, once again, I've taken my service to the point to where being a Marine is a very humbling, honorable job, but to actually go out to St. Vincent, build a hospital, build a pier, and help them rebuild a school as a Marine and working alongside the Navy, it was a humbling thing, because when I first joined in '93, all you think about is what? We're going to blow up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start doing humanitarian things, that's when you actually start to humble yourself a little bit more.
It's an interesting perspective, and one I certainly applaud. In December 2002, at now Staff Sergeant Maxwell, you received orders to 1st Tank Battalion. So it took you that long to finally get out the tanks, but by God, you did. There in 29 Palms, California. Upon arrival, you then deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom as a battalion radio chief.
Can I back up like 5 seconds on that?
Absolutely.
So that was a deal. That was a deal to where I met, I was out here for CACs.
Okay.
I met Big Frank the Tank, Master Guns Frank Castillo,
Mm-hmm.
and I met Masson Weatherby, the comm chief at that time. And I met them out here, and I told them that, hey, I want to come to tanks. Whatever radio chief you got, he can't cut it like me. And Big Frank the Tank told me, hey, you pick up Staff Sergeant this year, I'm gonna get you the Tank Battalion, and I'm gonna see what you got.
Nice.
And picked up Staff Sergeant. I called the monitor, and when I called the monitor, I said, what orders you got for me? He said, you already got orders. You're going to 1st Tank Battalion. He said, you didn't talk your way into a job, I guess.
Well, I will tell you that even back then, the gentleman I've spoken to, I named you and said that your work ethic and your abilities and your technical prowess with that tank system is really a combat multiplier during our OIF. I mean, I've heard that from multiple people. So what was your secret? I mean, other than just knowing your craft and doing it well, what was your secret? Because I have had some great comm chiefs and some great communicators, and I've had some that weren't quite as good. So what made you special?
My whole thing is that you have to understand empathy. You have to understand the people who you're working for. You know, at the end of the day, if they can't talk, they can't do their job.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, I have to understand what you need from me to talk. And while you're talking, I need to understand your system. You know, I actually, during OIF 1, I actually asked the Lance Corporal, show me how to load a tank. Why is this? Because you guys keep telling me that the radio is in your way. So I got taught how to load a tank and I understood how the radio was in their way. Okay, so we can move a few cables around so you can actually swing rounds a little bit better inside the tank. So at the end of the day, it's pretty much about empathy. Understand who you're working for, understand their needs, because at the end of the day, whether I like it or not, I'm a communicator. I actually provide a service, but I provide a support service for a major element.
Interesting way to put that. December 2003, you then deployed again as a communications chief for the CMAT and trained an Iraqi Army brigade. And then later on this last deployment to Iraq, you held the billet, a company radio chief and headquarters platoon sergeant for Charlie Company Reinforced. What was your driving factor that helped you perform at your highest while in tanks?
The highest challenge was that was my first time as a platoon sergeant. Now Lieutenant Colonel Barrelady, then Lieutenant Barrelady, set me down and he said, Staff Sergeant, I'm going to treat you just like a tank platoon sergeant. And I said, sir, what does that entail? Mm-hmm. He said, I need you to know everybody else's job and yours at the same time. So I had to learn the armory. I had to learn tank maintenance. I had to learn more about the tank because I had 2 tanks, the COs and the XOs tank. So I had to learn a lot and he wasn't giving me no time. And the whole thing is that Colonel Burley didn't accept excuses. He didn't accept excuses. There was no room, no margin for error, and he inspected what he expected. So that made me a whole lot better. A lot of nights you had to sit home and read tank manuals. You had to read to where what? Like he used to tell us all the time, if one of these tankers gets sick, somebody from headquarters is going on my tank. Mm-hmm.
And then what, other than the memories you've already kind of laid out, what are some other memories from this deployment that you have? Or these
a lot of memories I have from that deployment is that Master Gunnery Sergeant Arnold, great piece of work. They had no mission for headquarters. So we did Fallen Angel the first 2 months there. And then he came back and said, hey, I got a mission for headquarters. So we did route security with tanks and Humvees. That's hence I showed you the Humvee. That's where I got blown up at.
But we did that story top.
Yeah, we did route security, and it was pretty much we went out, we did our job, and we did it better than the other units. And it got to the point to where 2 tanks, 2 Humvees, we were out 96, 122 hours. We were out with just 4 vehicles, whereas the other units would come out with like 10, 15, 16 vehicles, right, and try to do the same job.
I'm going to ask you if you can talk through your office there about the situation with that Humvee and kind of show us some of your memorabilia from that tank deployment.
Okay, this is my most prized possession. Is my got to take that battalion comm chief. I've served as a radio operator, a company radio chief, and I've served as battalion radio chief, and I got to walk out as battalion comm chief. So every comm rank, every comm billet in Tank Battalion, I have held outside communications officer. So here's my that is my hood left of a Humvee that got blown up in 2006 while serving with Tank Battalion. And I was allowed to bring that home. Here is a sign that if you guys want to help me out, I'm trying to get it signed by as many tankers as possible because I'm trying to get it in rumor has it they're doing a tank history center over here in 29 Palms. So I'm trying to get this sign signed by as many tankers as possible. And if you look at it,
absolutely,
we've already got a few signatures on this sign. We got and this sign actually came from it came from Iraq, out of Saab. We had 6 of them made, and there's only one in the United States, and I happen to own that. Don't ask me how I own that. It just got relocated for further government usage. And my prize of all prized possessions, if anybody come in my garage, I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna have to get mad. Here's my prize of all prized possessions.
There it is. There it is.
When they decommissioned
Yeah.
1st Tank Battalion, that's one of the last rockets that was left on the ramp. That
Very
was
well
one of the
deserved.
last rockets.
Very
And
well
if
deserved.
anybody asks me, if you tell me I can't change a sprocket or short track a tank, come with it, and I'll tell you right now, I might not be as fast as you, but I can do it.
Nice.
So,
All right,
that's-
going back to March 2011, Staff Sergeant, you reported to the Marine Corps Communications and Electronics School to be an instructor. And then while aboard MSgt, you served as information systems coordinator for Alpha Company and an instructor for both technical control and technical control chief courses. And then during his last year as MSgt, you also completed the career progression training to achieve in the technical control MOS field. What were some of the lessons that you learned from your time in tanks that helped you with these future assignments?
once again, I have to go back to Master Guns Rambo, love him to death, rest in peace, brother. Have to go back to Master Guns Arnold, Master Guns Heath. I learned that one thing is that if you want to be the best at your craft, you have to take time to learn your craft. And serving with Tank Battalion, I have learned one thing I've learned even in my civilian life now, there are no excuses. There are no excuses. Anything you do, you need to be the best at it. If you're not the best at it, you need to go back and revisit it and relearn it and be the best at it. Let no man's ghost say if I would have trained a little bit harder. That's what Tank Battalion has over the years, even serving in every unit. I've learned so much from tankers to the point to where, hey, if it got to be here to midnight, stay, learn it, because at the end of the day, when you have to go to the field or you have to go to combat and execute it, at least you know you're a master at it.
Your time after tanks was broken up a little bit. During this time, you were promoted to gunnery sergeant, and then you served as the radio chief, the squadron gunnery sergeant, funeral detail coordinator, boys for tots coordinator, telephone communications officer, and then December of 2010, gunnery sergeant now Maxwell received orders to 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines, 3-7 as a radio chief. During this time, you deployed with 3-7 in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. And while in Sing in Afghanistan, you then served as the Forward Operating Base Jackson's Communications Staff NCOIC, which is a very prominent role for gunnery sergeant in combat. And then Master Sergeant, you were promoted to Master Sergeant Maxwell, and in your current billet since 2013, you received orders to 1st Tank Battalion, where you served as Communications Battalion Informations Chief. What was it like going back to tanks after all this time?
To me, it was like going back to a family reunion. As soon as I got promoted, I got orders cut the next day. I showed up. Master Guns Heath was then the ops chief. Danny Formella was still there. E-Step was still there. Easy was still there. And everybody was like, can we get rid of you or can we just make you 1812? And I said, hey. And then so they started calling me the grand old man of Blue Monsters. Because I actually have like 3 or 4 Blue Monsters from Tank Battalion. How long can you be an honorary tanker? So I'm like, hey, okay. So I did that time with those guys, and I tried to, I begged, pleaded, and kicked. I tried to retire from Tank Battalion, but the monitor was not letting that happen.
Were there significant changes in the battalion when you got back there from the first time?
It was a lot of changes to the point to where a lot of the missions have started to go away with the 2025 plan. A lot of the missions have started to go away. A lot of the things that I tried to implement when I was a staff sergeant there had been set to the wayside. with like communications, satellite communications on a tank. Why come a tank can't have satellite communications? Why come a tank can't have this? So a lot of things that I tried to implement as a staff sergeant went to the wayside. And when I got back as a master sergeant, we started to implement a lot of those things. And the battalion commander got to see the growth of how more effective the battalion could be.
I got you. Like you said, you did not get a chance to retire out of First Tanks because in June of 2015, Master Sergeant Maxwell was transferred to U.S. Marine Corps Forces in South Terrell, Florida. Certainly not a bad gig, I'm sure, down there in South Terrell. I'm sure that was not exactly very painful. Where he served as a communications chief, family readiness officer, and substance abuse control officer. And then
I actually didn't like it too well.
What? Not in South Terrell? Come on.
No, I didn't like it too well.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying I can't complain about the travel. Did get to travel to South America and implement a lot of things in South America, and did get to had the opportunity to bring a few tankers on to staff to do other things that they could do, and that was really a pleasure. That was a pleasure, but I was not ready for the route.
Okay. June 2018, you were then transferred back up to 29 Palms to serve in the Ability Communications Chief for Marine Corps Tactics and Operations Group, otherwise known as McTOG. And Matt Sergeant, I know that you know as well as anybody, this year's been a tough one, and this channel has a message. And for someone who's been very close with tanks multiple times in your career, and has certainly come to earn the honor of being an honorary tanker, what message do you have for our younger Marines that are dealing with the divestment and still making choices even now as to what to do, and including potentially getting out of the service? What's your message for them after your time here?
I would honestly say I wouldn't get out. If you want change, get promoted and make change. If you want our community, our family to come back, get promoted, make that change, and bring them back. There is no greater honor than serving with Tank Battalion and serving the Marine Corps. But at the end of the day, change can only be made by those who are willing to sacrifice, get promoted, and make that change. The dinosaurs are going to leave. They're going to leave one day, and you're going to become the superstar, and you make that change.
Amen. I love it. Thank you. And with that, my friend, I really appreciate you making the time to come on the channel. Like I said, it's an absolute honor having you on here. I'll turn the floor over to you one more time for some parting comments.
Parting comments is to all the tankers. Rest you. May you rest in peace to all my fallen tankers, Staff Sergeant May, Corporal Rodriguez, all of you guys we lost in 2003. Lance Corporal Ford, who we lost in 2006. May you rest in peace. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And I enjoy and love what you're doing. And I would definitely love this channel and follow this channel and push it out to everybody I know.
Thank you, Master. I really appreciate that. And I certainly appreciate you mentioning those Marines as well. May they rest. With that, thank you for those subscribers. You guys have continued to make this channel grow. And with that, channel is gaining momentum. And every day we're expanding our base. If you've not already done so, please press the subscribe button, press the notification bell. And I'm still taking interviews by any and all. And it sounds to me like Master Sergeant just put out an APB to get his tank crossing sign signed. So for the entire community that goes out to 29, you can contact me. You can contact Master Sergeant. I think he needs some more signatures on there. And if this channel can help you do that, by all means, I'm all about it. So with that, I will sign off and hoorah and Semper Fi, Master Sergeant.
Hoorah, Semper Fi to you too, brother.